Welcome to this lecture. In the last lecture, we launched our own instance and we had the initiation stage of a specific Amazon EC2 instance, and we specified lots of different information. You can see we have a new instance added, and this contains all the information about the name and the IDs of the system as well as the IP addresses, all of those aspects. We added a volume to our system. The volume was going to be adding disk storage space. We added key pairs so that we can access our system. We added security groups so that we can make sure that the access to our system is going to be secure and not just anybody from anywhere can access our system. We're only going to be specifying specific sources or specifying specific IP addresses that are going to be having access to our system. Those sorts of things we saw in the initiation stage. Now, oftentimes, what you want to do is you want to add more things once you have initiated your system. For example, in the middle of running your instance, you're going to be, say, having an increased need of having more volumes. In that case, you're going to be going over to the volumes aspect by this drop down menus that are available to us here on the left side, and you're going to be adding a new volume. Let's click on volumes here. In the volumes, you can see there is a single volume that is running. The volume that is running currently is the root volume that we had specified when we launched our instance. The root volume was the volume upon which we have the AMI installed. The AMI is, if you remember, the operating system. So a combination of that and the software packages that are installed on top of that operating system. All of those things are being processed by our root volume here. Now, this root volume is going to be providing 8 GBs. As we said, if we want to expand from 8 GBs, we can go over to create volumes and then attach that volume over to our specific instance that we want to work with. So let's go over to create volume. Here, if I go over to volume type, we have an expanded list here. And the reason for this is because if you think about the T2 micro, lots of the different configurations and settings are not available for the T2 micro, and the throughput optimized HDD and the cold HDD are much more advanced types of volumes. And if you want to have these, you're going to be needing more advanced hardware which can support this. If I click here, you can see the minimum automatically becomes 500 GBs. Here you can have throughput information, so MB per second. Here we have 20 Mbps, so on and so on. Let's make sure we specify general purpose SSD, and here make sure that our size is going to be only 8 GBs. So make sure that you change this over, or else you're going to be charged for the 70 or the 78 GB overage that you're going to be having. So let's come over to the information about the snapshot ID. So if you see here, we have the different kinds of snapshots that we can upload. So when you're working with volumes, you can upload what are called snapshots, which are going to be storing information about what was the installed AMI on top of that volume, what was the installed softwares on that volume, so on and so on. So you can see we have the CentOS, we have the Red Hat here, PV Linux, CentOS, so on and so on, and you can specify a specific snapshot ID. Here we're going to be selecting one last aspect, which is to encrypt this specific device. So this means the volume is going to be encrypted inside the Amazon warehouses, and that is going to make sure that our data cannot be stolen from the specific hardware location itself. So with this, we can move on and click on create. You can see a new volume is being created for us, and once this is going to be created, we're going to be able to right click on it and go over to actions and then attach that specific volume to a specific system. Let me come over here to refresh. Let's see if it has been created here. You can see now it is available to us. Let's unselect this and select this volume here. Go over to actions and click on attach volume. Here we're going to be able to attach this volume to a specific instance. Let's select the instance that we're running. We have the sys_01 instance running here. This is the device information here, and we're going to be specifying information about attach. You can see we're running that operation, and we're going to be attaching that specific volume over to our instance that we created in the previous lecture. If you think about the state here while that's loading, if you saw previously the state was available, and in available state means that that volume is available for use and available for attaching to a specific instance. In use means it's going to be being used by a specific instance, and you can see all of these information if you scroll across here. Now, if I click on reload, you can see we have added that specific volume onto our EC2 system. So it's very easy to add these volumes over. Thank you for joining me here. And in this lecture, we saw how we can add a new volume, which is going to expand the amount of storage that we have available for our computation system, which is the T2 microsystem that we launched in the previous lecture. Let's move along.